I'm on my mission field right now. My mission field is not somewhere in another country. My mission field is not what other people have. My mission is in this school.
Don't waste that time. I think making the most of where you are in high school is. Guys, welcome back to the King of Hearts podcast. It's a new week, which means a new topic,
Yeah.
and new
location.
Oh yeah, and we're in a new place as well. We're super excited about that. And also, this isn't the final product. We're gonna be having some new improvements within the next few months. I got a friend that's coming in May, and he's gonna help out with some stuff. It's gonna be awesome.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Jake,
What's up, dude?
how you feeling?
I'm good. And I love the new studio, by the way. The black looks great. The only thing is, my favorite color to wear is black. So I feel like I can't wear black because of the black background and there won't be contrast. So that's the only thing I'd have to say that like I don't like about the studio. But other than that, man, it feels good. We have air conditioning, so we're not gonna be sweating. We can actually wear clothes now. So I'm really excited for that.
We always could paint the walls white too. Like, this is not permanent. That's my favorite thing about this place. We could literally like turn it into whatever we want.
The black looks good though. It's very chill. It'll look good for like short form stuff. So I'm excited.
We'll see. We'll see if I get tired of it or not. I'm very indecisive. For those of you that don't know, I'm very indecisive, and I just I can't stick with one thing for too long, or I get bored. So honestly, I'm very that shows that this podcast is something that's God oriented, because I've never stuck to something for 6 months.
Yeah, this has been 6 months now. Started
crazy.
in like late October. Yeah. Actually, was it November? I think our first podcast was early November because it was after Halloween, wasn't it?
No, it was before Halloween.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we recorded the first episode for Halloween. It was about Halloween.
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wild, bro. Wild.
Yeah. We got Ryan here again, of course. I'll show you guys some later. He'll actually hold on. We decided to give Ryan a microphone this week. So
Say what's up to the fans.
What's up, guys? Good to be here. I don't know why they gave me a mic, but we're rolling with it.
Yeah, it could be a dangerous thing, but we'll see how it
really could
goes.
be, it could be.
What's up?
But yeah, we're just some college students. We're having some fun, talking about Jesus, trying to bring people closer to Him. And yeah, we got a fun topic for you guys. It's something that I think that we were both kind of like worried about when we were first moving down here, which is what am I actually supposed to do with where God has me? And what's the title of this episode? Or it's
Pretty much
close-
just make the most of where you are.
making the most of where
Yeah,
you are.
are you doing all that you can to, grow and have influence? So yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I guess that was something that I was really worried about coming down here, because what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to make the most of where you are if you don't even know where you're at yet? So that was for me. When I first got down here, I was like, what in the world am I down here for? What am I supposed to be doing? And I still don't fully know. I don't think. I've still been figuring things out slowly, and I've been getting more opportunities and stuff like that. But I still don't know exactly why I'm here. But
What do you mean when you say that? Like, you don't know why you're here as far as the future goes? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to think of if God puts you somewhere, I feel like there has to be I feel like there's supposed to be one just major reason. But I think in reality that's probably not true. This probably is just a lot of little things that maybe aren't so little. But I don't know. I just hold on. I'm gonna put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I think our TikTok is going crazy. If you guys don't follow us on TikTok, go check us out.
Little plug.
Yeah, go check us out. We'll link it down in the description. But yeah,
Let me see how to say this. God puts you where you need to be so you can grow. Obviously there may be a reason down the line, but don't focus so much on okay, I got to figure out why God has me in this place down the line, because literally He's going to put you in the spot where you're going to grow the most. And it's your choice to say, hey, am I going to do that? Am I actually going to be disciplined enough to say, I'm going to take my time and be disciplined and grow in the Lord, or am I going to do my own thing? And ultimately, I feel like you'll figure it out a little bit faster if you go all in now rather than waiting and just trying to figure it all yourself. So
okay, I think that's a really good point, that God puts you where He wants you so you can grow.
yeah.
Because honestly, when I think of God, when God moved me down to Orlando, that's not what I was thinking about. And honestly, sometimes, most of the time, it's still not what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking that I'm in Orlando because, this is where I'm going to grow the most. I'm thinking I'm in Orlando because this is where I'm supposed to do the most. So,
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
that's really good. So honestly, I guess making the most of where you are starts with like, building your faith where you are and figuring out the best way to do that. So what are some of the ways that you think that what are some of the things that you think have built your faith the most since we moved down here?
Yeah, for me, like I think what's built my faith the most is finding community. And, a lot of people kind of undervalue finding community. They don't think that it serves that much of a purpose. They think that they can do it all by themselves. And actually, we were at the gym with Ryan like the other day, and I made a comment and I said, like, you're your best accountability partner. And Ryan was like, that's not true. What are you talking about? And when he said that, I was like, you're kind of right, because like you can have the self motivation to do things, but also when you have other people beside you, it makes it so much easier to walk in faith because you have other people with you. And for me, it wasn't necessarily just finding that community. It was finding the people inside my new community that I could open up with. Because for me, I value being understood as a person a lot. And when you leave a place that you grew up at for 18 years, it's like you feel like no one truly understands you. No matter how much you open up with them, it's like they don't know me. They don't know my past. They don't know my struggles. They only know what I tell them. And in reality, like if you want to have community, if you want to grow closer with God, you got to open up with people where you are. And that may be hard, that may be tough, but once you do that, not only do you feel seen and understood, but you also allow God to move in your life more because he can grow you from where you are, not from where you've been. And that's been a big thing for me, is finding those people.
I think that community is definitely something that I struggle with, because for me it just really, I think I'm a lot more like cautious. I don't know if that's the right word, as a person. Like when it comes to new people, I'm very like observant when I first meet people and kind of closed off. Um, and I think that's a big problem for me, just because when you're closed off with people, when you first meet them, that kind of slows down how well you guys actually get to know each other, and like it slows down that whole process. Um, so that's been probably my biggest struggle. Probably in regards of grow. I feel like if I didn't let that struggle like overcome me, then I probably would have seen so much more growth by now.
Hmm.
Do you think that's fair?
Yeah. Like, why do you think community is so hard for you? I know that it's uncomfortable, obviously, but like, why do you think it's not like a desire you have?
I don't know. I think it's probably just like the way that I valued friends like as I grew up. I was always the type of person that had like one or two close friends. Like I never wanted to be part of like a big like group or anything like that. And I think I just got accustomed to that. So honestly, the biggest change in my life after being saved, well, obviously it's not the biggest change, but a really big change in my life that happened like after I got saved was my friend group, right? So you brought me into like a completely different territory. And all of a sudden had like 6 or 7 new friends out of nowhere that I've never seen most of them in my life. And and I was put in a group with them once a week, and I had to like talk to them, and that was hard for me. That was like honestly a very big challenge for me. And I think you saw that when yeah. I think you saw that when I first started going to y'all's life group, and definitely y'all's D group. I just struggled a lot with like actually talking and feeling like people cared about what I was saying and opening up and stuff like that. So I think that's probably just something that has transferred as I came down here. And I definitely I need to grow in that area. I'm just not exactly sure how to, other than just doing it. And yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. That's just like a really big struggle for me, is like the desire to be in community like that.
Is part of it because of the fact that you don't know where you'll be a year from now?
No, honestly, for me, that doesn't bother me. It really just is. I don't know how to trust that many people, or like I can't cling to that many people. I feel like, but I can. I know I can. I don't. You know.
Yeah, no. No, that's definitely something that I've heard. That's why I brought it up, that people don't want to get super close with people because they don't know how long they're going to be there. And like I just say to those people, like, you're going to miss out on so much if you do that. Because of course there's going to be temporary and seasonal friends. Like, I think there's a place for that. Like, for example, like when we moved from Memphis, like there's a lot of people I talk to every day that I only talk to maybe once every few weeks, you know, and like maybe some of them not even at all. And that's not a problem. That doesn't mean I wasn't as close as I thought I was. It just means they're, you know, they're seasonal friends, right? But also too, like every place you're at, you can find lifelong friends. You can find them. And if you want to be like, if you want to maximize your potential in the place that you are, you need people like that that you can trust and that can trust you back. Even though you don't know if you'll see them like a lot after the year that we're here, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, like having community is so underrated because it can just help you in every other avenue of life in your spiritual walk, and it's so important, especially right now because like we've said many times on the podcast, like both of our stories, we graduate next May. You know, like we could get job
College
offers.
people.
Yeah, college.
College.
Like, legit.
We just started in September.
Yeah, as 20-year-olds, you know, like we don't know where we're going to be. We don't know if ministry or media, like immediately is what we're going to do. And that's like scary, you know, that scares me because I'm like, man, like I'm at like these events at church and I'm like, man, next year I may not be here for this event, you know?
Yeah.
But also next year I might be there for that event.
Yeah.
2 years from now, I might be there at that event. So you never know what God's going to do. And by not going all in where you're at, it just completely ruins something that God could do for you.
Yeah. So going off that a little bit, how do you take what you just said, right? Like you don't know where you're gonna be in a year. How do you like prioritize what things you do while you are here? Like what things do you feel called to and drawn to, like in this stage of life and like where you are? Like you know for sure you're gonna be here for another year. So what are some things that you feel like you want to do before we move out of here, or maybe
Yeah.
stay? We don't know.
Do what you're passionate about. Do what God has called you to do. I'm called to be a pastor. I'm called to preach the word. I can't be in a pulpit right now at a church, but I can be on a podcast. I can talk about my struggles. I can preach the word, right? So I'm fulfilling my calling right now from the Lord in a way that it didn't, you know, it doesn't look like long term. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. Maybe it will be. I'm passionate about sports. I'm passionate about community. So I have to prioritize those things that God's put in my life. And yeah, like just because you're called to something that you don't think you can fulfill right now, don't look at it as a title. Look at it as an opportunity to grow and get ready for that opportunity. You know, like everybody has something that they're super talented in. Everybody has something. You know, I was listening to a podcast by Jonathan Bacluti yesterday, and he said, everybody has something they can run a 5-minute mile in. Everyone has something like that. But are you going to choose to do that? Or are you going to just run a 7-minute mile because it looks good?
That's
You
a
know?
good saying.
Are you gonna challenge yourself to be the best version of yourself in what you're passionate about and what God has gifted you in? And do that no matter where you are, bro. It doesn't matter if you're fulfilling your calling in your own eyes. Like, trust me, you are if you're where you need to be.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Hey, Ryan. What's up?
Ryan, welcome to the pod, bro. Anyways, yeah, I feel like the things that I'm passionate about. How do I explain this? For me, when I'm passionate about something, it's so hard for me to do the other things that I have to do. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Explain.
Like, I am not passionate about school. I'm not. Right? But I love doing this. I love doing this. I love doing social media for our church. I love editing for Jaywalkers. Love them. They're the best. Shout out.
There's one. Ryan, you counting? You counting? Okay.
But because I'm so passionate about those things, for me, it's just so hard to want to do anything else. Like the reason, by the way, guys, just for a little bit of context, me and Jake, he went to bed at 4:30 last night, and I went to bed at 5:30. We were literally working on this place, trying to get this ready to record because we had to record at 11 because I have school at 1. So like in about 25 minutes, I'm literally going to run out the door and drive to school. And I just I wish I didn't have to do that. I really do. I wish we had more time for this and like that I could, you know, plan it out better and all that stuff. But it's just hard. It really is a struggle. So like, honestly, that makes me just wonder like what is the best way to, you know, do the things that you're passionate about without sacrificing like your disciplines and the things you have to do?
Well, think about why you came to Full Sail in the first place. Why did you choose to come here? Why did you want to go to that school and pursue media?
Okay. I see. Okay, I came to this school because this school would be in and out.
That's
I'd
why
be-
you chose this school?
I chose. Okay, well, obviously there's other reasons. That was like. I'll start off by saying this actually. So, I feel like Full Sail was the biggest open door, and I had the most peace about it. Right, which that was definitely from the Lord because I know I'm supposed to be here. But like the initial things that kind of drew me to it was how fast the program was because I don't like wasting time. I don't if I can do something in 2 years instead of doing it in 4 years, I'm gonna pick to do it in 2 years, you know? So that would for me, that was one of the biggest things that drew me here. I don't know about you, but like and also the fact that we are doing it in 2 years, that also means that, the stuff that we are doing in class, everyone else isn't doing for another 2 years. They don't start that until their junior year of college.
Yeah.
So, like, I was looking at going to SCAD, right? And literally the first 2 years is all book work. So, I definitely am happy that I chose this school out of other schools. But for me, it's just so hard sometimes to like wonder why I'm actually having to go to school. Like, why do I have to go to school to be in Orlando? I mean, it makes sense. Like, that's the only thing. I
That's
don't
why
know.
you're here. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. Hmm. Like you came here because you have a passion for media. Like you didn't like want to major in anything else, right? That's like what you were passionate about when you got your camera, right? And so like viewing school is just like a check off the box. Like sometimes that's easy to do, but also too, I've been convicted like the last few months of like not going all in where I'm at. So one thing that I've been doing is I have this passion for sports. I know that I could get paid for it one day. And there was an opportunity to sign up to call some softball games. And I was like, you know what? Like this is going to be a damper on my schedule. It's probably going to be a grind setting everything up because I'd rather be editing for our podcast or making reels or hanging out with people. But I was like, you know what? I need to do this. I need to take some time and broadcast some games. And then when I got out there and I started doing it, I was like, man, I miss this. I haven't called a game in like a few months. Like this is crazy. Like I love doing this. And I'm passionate about it. And so like just because like you have other priorities, like don't forget about what you're truly passionate about and like what God's brought you down here to do. And obviously that's the goal of any disciple is to know him and make him known. But also too, you can do that the best through your passions. I found more gospel conversations and more encouraging talks with people that have been in my program than I have anywhere else. And that's just an example. Like when you steward your faith well inside where you're passionate about, like people are going to listen to you,
Wow. I love this. I like this episode because it really is like showing me things that, I don't think about enough. Like the fact that we're doing an episode called, make the most of where you are, making the most of where you are. And I know I don't do that. I know I don't do that in school just because I feel like it's taking away time from other things. Like you should see me. Like I'll say this. A lot of the stuff that we're doing right now is stuff I already know how to do. I'll say that. So there's two different things that I do every week. Half of class is in the studio, half of class is in a classroom, and we're like critiquing each other's projects. I literally fall asleep in the back of the class. Like yesterday during class, I sit in the back on purpose. I'm the only person that sits in the very back row, and it's a big classroom. It's like 70 seats. I sit in the very back row. And then when the lights go off, I just like sit down on the floor in the back.
You do not. I'd never do that.
Oh, I just did it yesterday for the first time. It was awesome. But
Did you sleep?
no, I didn't. But usually I just fall asleep like laying on the desk. But not laying on the desk, but putting my
You
head
went
down.
on the desk, like all the way on the desk.
No.
Just me envisioning being a teacher, seeing this big kid in the back just lay out on the table, sleeping during my lecture.
Yeah, I don't know how long I would last in that class before they kicked me out if I did that.
Oh man, that's so funny.
What was I saying?
You're saying you don't make the most of where you are. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no. But in all honesty, everyone else in that class, like they've all made friends with each other by now. Like everyone knows who's friends with who. And I'm just the one kid that no one understands. They know that like they don't know what I do, but they know that I know what I'm doing, kind of. Just because I kind of make that known. I'm a little prideful sometimes, but like I show people that I know what I'm doing. In definitely a prideful way, but that causes people to want to be friends with me, but I just don't like reciprocate when they talk to me. I just don't like show them that I enjoy that they're talking to me at all, because the whole time I'm thinking like, dude, I just want to go home. I want to edit the podcast or edit the reels or just do something. Actually, no, you edit all the reels. But
You're talking about the company you edit for, right? What's it called? What's it called? Who do you edit for?
you're talking about the jaywalkers.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, no, like that makes sense. That makes sense. And you also remember you've been saved a year and a half. And like a lot of the stuff you're going through, I'm willing to bet like 95% of Christians have gone through something like that. Like for me, like I had a stage in high school where like all I wanted to do is just sleep in class. Like I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to share my faith. I didn't even want to have a good conversation because I want to sleep. I got stuff to do. I'm tired. Like I'm going to put that over talking to people. And like there comes a point where for me, it took one good conversation, one like summer camp, like one of those things. And then you come back and you see people differently. You don't see people in the classroom and think of it's an obstacle and think that, oh man, like I'm scared. I don't want to talk to them. Like they don't know me. I don't know them. What's the point? Instead, it's like, no, I'm a missionary. I'm on my mission field right now. My mission field is not somewhere in another country. My mission field is not like what other people have. My missionary is in this school. How many other people get the opportunity to share the gospel with these people in my class every single day? And I don't do that well. And I know you've had your struggles with that too. Even in high school, when I was like trying to do that every single day, like there would be opportunities where I'd be walking next to someone in the hallway and they'd be doing nothing, like not even AirPods, just walking. And I wouldn't talk to them. And now I'm 13 hours away. Like I may never see those people again. I probably won't. I won't see probably 99% of those people from high school again. So like, think about that. Even in our classes, we have monthly classes. It's like, there's a chance you may not be with those people in a class ever again, like take that opportunity to say, hey, God has given me this window of time right now, and he hasn't gifted this to anyone else. He's given it to me as a gift, and steward it well, because really there's no point of being scared of those conversations. Like all you got to do is just take a step of faith. And sometimes it takes a summer camp. Sometimes it takes a trip. Sometimes it takes someone shoving you into a conversation like that, but you can't be so against having a conversation about God that you're like fighting that person. Like you just step into it and know that it's the right thing to do. It's always God's will for you to share about him. Always.
When you talk about that, it makes me think of that one verse. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it basically says like, how are people supposed to know about God and Jesus if you don't go and talk to them, or if you don't go and tell them? It's probably in Matthew. That's my guess. We'll let you guys know. We're gonna put it on the screen. I think it's in Matthew. Oh yeah,
I will.
Yeah, you will.
I guess I will then. Okay.
We're gonna put it on the screen. I think it's in Matthew.
Okay.
I could be completely wrong. But there's that verse that talks about that. And for me, one of my biggest struggles, when I get that urge to like share the gospel in my heart, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just thinking like, someone else is gonna do it. Someone else is gonna do it. But that verse tells us that we need to be doing it, because if you don't, then who will? So yeah, that really is a struggle for me. And I definitely have found that it is a bigger struggle for me to, talk to people about Jesus in an environment where I just like don't want to be. So like, I'm not always like that, no matter where I am. Like I'll talk to a non-Christian that hates Jesus. Like if it's at church, or like if they were here, like if they were Ryan, if Ryan was an atheist, I would definitely talk to him about that, because we're not at school. But for some reason, when I'm just at school, I'm just like, dude, I don't want to be here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned that, like an atheist in the room, because I feel like even if Ryan was an atheist, when I'm sitting down with someone who doesn't know God, I feel like there's like a wall. And like, I feel like for some reason, I feel like I can't talk to them about God because they don't believe in God. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if there's a perfect opportunity and I'm just standing next to somebody, or I'm at lunch with somebody, it's like I have to break through a brick wall and like punch through it to be able to share the gospel with them. It's just like harder. Do you understand that? Does that make sense? Okay.
I get it.
Okay. Just making sure I'm not the only one. So like, like obviously that's not something that you're only feeling. I think that a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah. Ryan.
What's up?
For you, like, when do you find it like? Do you find it hard to share the gospel with people?
I think definitely in like a situation where I'm in school, where my whole life I went to public school, and like it's a secular culture, right? You're surrounded by people who may be followers of Christ, and then you're surrounded by people who definitely aren't. And without having those conversations, you don't know who is and who isn't a follower of Christ, and you don't know how to start those conversations because as people, we're scared to talk to random people. If you don't have that like outgoing, like super outgoing personality, you are not going to start those conversations. And so for me, I was not super out and open about my faith in high school. I think that was something that was really difficult for me. And, coming down here, definitely because I found that community that Jake was talking about, like, in places where I haven't expected to be sharing the gospel, like even through like my soccer team that I just joined recently, I wear cross wrist tape, right? Because a little bit of drip, you know what I'm saying?
Drippy.
Drippy. But my wrist tape has crosses on it, and so it starts those conversations. I had teammates asking me like, are you a Christian? I said, yeah. And so, that kind of starts conversations. But I think, it is hard to find yourself having those conversations if you don't realize that God is, trying to tell you to start those conversations. You know what I mean?
I find it a lot easier to share the gospel, like Ryan said, like when you're seeing it, when you're open to seeing it, and like, but what's the difference between going out knowing you're going to share the gospel and just going out every day? Like, why don't we have that mindset every day? Like knowing that we are not just called to be the light, we're called to be the salt. We're called to spread that salt. Like, why don't we walk into our areas of our life every day with that mindset? We should, because like if we're not, it shows that we're like, in my opinion, it shows that we're like self-centered, that we're focused on ourselves, we're focused on our schedule and what we've got going on. But ultimately, like for me, I'll be late to anything if it means that I get to share the gospel with somebody. Like that's the best opportunity. So yeah, I like what you said.
So why don't you do that more?
Lack of faith. I lack faith. I lack discipline, right? Like an opportunity presents itself and I just make up reasons in my head and not do it. It's literally just fear, and there's nothing to be afraid of. Like God has not given us a spirit of fear. That comes from Satan. That comes from our flesh, right? So why would we fear that? We know that God's going to work. Even if that person literally says, no, I reject that. Like, go away. Like, honestly, whenever that happens to me, I go away smiling because I'm like, I was persecuted for the sake of Christ. So that's like the worst it could go. But like the best it could go is they get saved, right? Maybe you get their number and like you reach out to somebody to disciple them or you disciple them. Like, why would you like miss that? Why would you miss out an opportunity to do that?
Yeah. So I just want to speak a little bit like, directly to you guys that are watching or listening wherever you are. I think the majority of our audience is probably in high school or around our age. And then also we have some other, like older adults that are, ahead of us in life, which is awesome. But I just want to speak directly to like, those high schoolers, those college students, like don't miss out on those opportunities. Don't be like me. Don't don't waste 6 months of college not talking to anyone about Jesus, because, coming from someone that's been doing that ever since he, got saved. Actually, I think I didn't struggle with it as much in high school because I was kind of like on a high right when I got saved. But don't waste that time. Don't waste that time. I think making the most of where you are in high school is sharing to your friends that aren't believers. So it doesn't matter how bad your grades are, how good your grades are, or like anything else. Nothing matters as much as, someone's salvation. So, and also your personal, like, what's the word? Personal
walk, like relationship.
Sanctification.
Yeah, dude, that's a big word.
There
Good
it
job.
is.
Yeah.
Look at me. And your personal sanctification. Nothing is more important than those things right there. So if that's the stage of life that you're in, or even if you're an adult and you're at work, making the most of where you are starts with those two things: sanctification and spreading the good news. So I just wanted to say that real quick to them, because we do have to kind of wrap this up pretty soon. It is currently 12:46, and our school's like 7 minutes away, and I have to be at school at 1. So yeah, do you have any like last words?
I was gonna ask you, like, what's your takeaway, bro? What are you doing after this? What are you changing?
For me, I think what I need to start doing is really just, giving off the impression that I like talking to people. When people are talking to me, I don't just, not give them a smile and just like look away. Like I really struggle with showing people at school that I care about them talking to me. Um, because in all honesty, I'm just trying to get out of there. So it's just hard for me to care about that. But I think I need to, because, how am I supposed to have those conversations with people if the conversations don't start to begin with? So I think for me, that's the biggest change that I'm gonna have. Um, yeah. How about you?
Yeah, for me, I just need to keep my eyes up, spiritually and physically, and look for those opportunities. Like whether it's people at the gym or people at school, like people on the street. Like, am I genuinely taking those opportunities? And it's really easy to say that now in this room, but then when you go outside this room, it gets really hard. It gets difficult. So practicing what I preach and actually doing that and taking those opportunities. And also too, like it's joyful being a Christian. I love it. Like, why walk around with a down face? Like walk around with some joy, have some fun. That's how you shine your light. Let Jesus shine through you. So
I love that. Guys, thank you so much. It's been another great week with you guys. We're just enjoying every minute of this, honestly. No matter how many hours it takes us to redo a room or edit a podcast, like it's all worth it, because we love you guys so much, and we love doing what God's called us to do. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for another week. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, notifications, everything. Follow us on Instagram at King of Hearts Studios.
TikTok.
Yeah, at TikTok, it's King of Hearts Podcast. And yeah, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you back next week.
Peace.